Hello friend and welcome to BorgcasTAS 2.5 with Anne-Marie, Peter and very sleepy Lila.
Hello.
Tonight we are covering the penultimate yes, episode of the animated series How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. More on that title at the end, I guess, because Kirk at least explains it. Poncy, but at least relevant. Written by Russell Bates. He has one other writing credit, The Secrets of Isis. A live-action filmation show about an archaeologist who gains an amulet that allows her to transform into the superheroine goddess Isis.
Oh, not that Isis, not Isis.
No, not the Isis that came later. It looks and feels like an Egyptian-flavoured Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Complete
okay.
with a star that's a spitting image of Linda Carter. It ran for 2 seasons in 1976 and 1977, although the second season is only 7 episodes long, so it's similar to the animated series. He also acts in a couple of films, bizarrely, including Porky's 2, quality. This is also co-written by David Wise, who wrote for a load of animated shows, including 4 episodes of
Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
We'd have a word or two to say about the parakeets, which you can no doubt hear.
Yeah.
One of the episodes featured Tarzan coming up against the Mayan god Kukulkan, who was revealed to be an alien. The lazy git! He just handed in the same script and just did, find and replace with Kirk with blooming Tarzan. 7 episodes of Godzilla, 13 episodes of The Biscuits. Remember those wee dogs? Funny enough, when I found the theme tune to that, it brought back memories of actually watching it. It was on BBC back in the day.
Oh, I don't remember it, sorry.
9 episodes of the original He-Man. 13 episodes of
Defenders of the Earth. Defenders.
15 episodes of
Transformers. More than meets the eye.
Hi Llama. To name but a few. He also wrote the Space Vampire episode of Buck Rogers Season 1. Which is one of the best Buck Rogers episodes, to be honest. Because it centres around Wilma rather than Gil Gerard, who's a bit boring.
I was angered because I believed you had forgotten me. But one in your midst knows my name. You will be given one chance to succeed where your ancestors failed. Fail me again, and all of your kind shall perish.
Mr. Walking Bear, how do you know who's aboard that ship?
I am a Comanche captain. I've studied the histories of many ancient Earth peoples, especially my own. That ship out there bears a strong resemblance to a god in Mayan and Aztec legends, Kukulkan.
So, the Enterprise is investigating an alien probe, which rocked up, scanned the Federation system, sent a signal outwards, and then self-destructed before they could get to it.
Which is, a change from the other probes that we'll come across in Star Trek that have a tendency of nearly wiping Earth out.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
But, we're already on it. Is it looking for whales? I don't know.
And then on the bridge you have Mr. Walking Bear, who I don't think we've had before.
No, Ensign Walking Bear has been introduced in this just because of the Mayan reference, I guess. Co-writer Russell Bates was a member of the Kiowa tribe. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Which is cool. And far better than the dude that advised the writers of Voyager who turned out to be peddling absolute cobblers about North American tribes.
Yes.
It is a bit of a jip to George Takei, though. Obviously, he doesn't get a feature in this as a result.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah. Something, while they're investigating, they're tracking sort of like the path of the probe, there's lots of debris and stuff, and then something is heading towards them at warp 3. And they don't know if it is a probe or the sender of a probe. There's no way of identifying it. Spock says it's an unorthodox design. He's been able to reconfigure the sensors, and he can tell them it's twice the size of the Enterprise, but on the screen it's just a yellow blob, which, to be fair, is fitting with the original series.
Yes.
And it's surrounded by a very powerful energy field. And then they get zapped and so badly that Uhura turns white.
Yes. Well, there's a mistake to make.
They get hit and they're losing speed, and they're encased in a force field. So the Enterprise now looks like it's in a marble.
It does. A big bubble.
It reminds me of, is it Men in Black, where it's either the opening or closing credits and it's Alien with, and one of them is the Earth
playing
as
at
a
the
marble.
end, I think
Yeah,
it is, yes.
Yeah.
Reminded me of Labyrinth, but there you go.
Okay. And then you see the enemy vessel and it definitely looks weird.
Yes, it's definitely not normal, as Spock says.
No.
Goofy, I think would be one word for it.
And then it when the Enterprise fires on it, its energy pattern shifts and it now looks like a sort of snakefish thing.
Dragon, it's supposed to be, but okay.
Oh, yes, actually. The colours were the same as the dragon eel in Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just the very end, fins, wings, whatever you want to call it, near the tail, reminded me of a fish, that's all. Those are just the very end ones. Anyway, Walking Bear recognises it and says it's Kukulkan.
Which is an actual Mayan deity, so they're not making this up.
Well, Kathy said more like a demigod rather than a deity.
Yeah. Oh, Kathy, by the way, Anne-Marie's sister who lives in Mexico, so...
Yeah, in the Yucatan Peninsula, where the Mayans are, where they have the ziggurats, which look like the ones in this episode.
Yep.
And in fact, the view at the top, when Kirk climbs it later, is almost identical to the view from Kuba, which we've been up. So...
Kukulkan returns in Lower Decks Season 3's Mining the Mines. There's an illusion that attacks Steve Stevens. And, I'm struggling to work out how to pronounce it myself, and certainly Shatner pronounces it differently to everybody else, because they were all told how to pronounce it by the writer, but, of course, he was just phoning in his performance, so wasn't there to hear the briefing.
Well, I can't remember how Kathy pronounced it, but she does speak some Mayan.
Yeah, no, and when I made an attempt, she went, no, it's... I was like, I can barely hear the difference, damn. Kukulkan, I think, but rather than... Or is it Cuckoo Khan? It's one of the two.
How to pronounce this name. For more Mexican words pronunciations, stay tuned. This Serpant deity, Kukulkan, Maya, Kukulkan.
He's very angry and he says that he's been forgotten, but he's going to give them a chance because somebody on the ship remembers them. And Walking Bear says that he's a member of a particular tribe, and not only has he studied his own, he's studied a number of others, and so therefore he recognises Kukulkan. And then seems to be the basis of legends of a number of ancient peoples. And then McCoy disappears, and then so does Scotty, and then so does Walking Bear, and Spock's just exclaiming about this, and then Kirk buggers off as well. And you get this really shit scene of Spock sort of almost sarcastically putting his hand over his mouth as if to say, oopsie.
Guess I'm in charge then. Oh dear.
They've been transported to the ship, and they don't have any weapons or anything, but McCoy has his med kit for some reason.
Yeah. No, because he was holding it at the time, maybe.
Yeah, can only think that.
Because he was treating a guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Kukulkan says that he's sown seeds and he wants them to find and learn, and only then will he appear. And that's when you see the Mayan temple, the ziggurat. Uhura, meanwhile, on the ship, asks if they're not going to try and rescue them. And Spock sort of quite grumpy and says, you're supposed to be monitoring the transmissions.
Yeah, he's quite rude, isn't he?
Yeah.
That wasn't called for, I thought.
Yes. And then you have your... almost statutory von Daniken shit.
Yes.
The Mayans built he gave them this calendar, and so they built the city. No, they were good at calculating dates and times and shit.
They didn't need no help.
No.
Oh dear. Never mind. But it was very of its time.
Yeah. And the idea that, ancient non-white races might have done things that
need help. Yeah.
Yeah, and not be capable on their own of doing impressive feats. I mean, also, you think about the layout of the Yucatan Peninsula. I mean, they could have got some really good, sun-based readings with no... Yeah. If they built high enough with no
flat.
trees. Trees in the way or whatever. They would have been perfectly capable.
I mean, that is one thing they get right in the animation. It's clearly whoever was animating this went to Mexico or saw pictures at the very least. Because it's just like flat forest. It's a weird panorama.
There's no hills.
Yeah.
None.
You don't expect that at all, but that's the way it is. Yeah, and I mean, just to double down on the Von Daniken, there are elements of Chinese architecture and Egyptian stuff there as well. So it's like, here we go. All the good stuff that was invented by non-white people, it was the aliens. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know whether to think of that as progress or not compared to when British explorers found ancient Abyssinian civilizations. So the ruins of the civilization, the Abyssinian Empire having existed for a very, very long time in what is now Ethiopia, that when they wrote back, they lied and said it was all Polynesians and not. So they didn't want to say that Africans could do stuff. Right. So your ordinary British
a different version of being in denial.
But the ordinary British person had no idea, but the researchers did. I don't know whether it's better or worse, because they didn't say that, because the Polynesians weren't white, but they were paler, if that makes sense. I don't know whether it's worse to say it's aliens. I mean, I suppose you can discount somebody saying it's aliens more easily, can't you? You can just go, you're mad. Whereas if somebody lies and says it's a different civilization that did this, that's worse, because you've got no reason not to believe them. Kukulkan is saying that many tried and failed to get the design of the city completely right, which makes me think that your instructions weren't very good. That's just my thought, because he was going to come again, do you know what I mean? And then nobody summoned him. We'll give your instructions better then. Or just, rock up anyway, just in case.
Yeah.
Kirk climbs the pyramid, and there's like a picture, and he gets them to angle the statues. And then I think you take over with the statue angling, don't you?
I do, yes. I always like to take over with the statue angling. But let's have an advert or something first.
Well, now look at children's programmes coming up this afternoon on BBC One.
The jungle. Here I was born. And here my parents died when I was but an infant. I would have soon perished too had I not been found by a kindly she-ape named Kala, who adopted me as her own and taught me the ways of the wild. I learned quickly and grew stronger each day. And now, I share the friendship and trust of all jungle animals. The jungle is filled with beauty and danger, and lost cities filled with good and evil. This is my domain, and I protect those who come here. For I am Tarzan, Lord of the jungle.
Defenders of the earth. Defenders. Out of the sky, his rockets ignite. Jets into battle, flying faster than light. Flash Gordon. Lord of the jungle, the hero who stalks. The beasts call him brother, the goes to war. Defenders of the earth. Defenders. Master of magic spells and illusion. Enemies crumble in fear and confusion. And drink. Defenders of the earth. Defenders. His strength is a legend. His skills conquer all. Armed with his power, we never will fall. No fear. Defenders of the earth. Defenders. With our new young heroes proving their worth. 4 become 8, defending the earth. Defenders of the earth. Defenders. Defenders of the earth.
Kirk gets Scotty to direct the heads of these dragon head things to the top of the temple, and this shoots a ray, a piece of stained glass, and they find Tanis. No, wait, that's Raiders of the Lost Ark. And once all the heads are turned, the stained glass emits a signal, and Kukulkan is revealed in all his snaky birdie glory. He challenges them to fire at him, but points out they haven't actually got phasers on them. And that's not their style anyway. Yeah, okay, well, at least one of those statements is
yeah.
Kukulkan says that he had the right to fire on their ship on the grounds that he is their master. It's Doohan, by the way, if you hadn't already guessed.
Yeah.
As is Running Bear as well. As punishment for not recognising him, Kooks puts them in yet another spacesuit, because we haven't seen enough of those on Star Trek yet. This is our third. Once in TOS, twice in TAS. Talk about being obsessed with an idea. I do love the furry lizard. That's really cute.
I'm not such a fan of the vagina.
No, there seems to be a floating vagina with fallopian tubes. Yeah. The artist's on.
My art has been commended as being strongly vaginal.
There's also a derpy three-eyed mini elephant thing, and an expanding and contracting slug in a wig, apparently.
Yep.
Oh, that was strong stuff, man. Apparently all the exhibits are conned into thinking they are in their natural environment, and that includes the illusion of the city the away team were in. Kukulkan claims he came to Earth to teach the humans the way of peace, Did a grand job, didn't he? But having returned from his interstellar holes, he's discovered his project has gone south. When Kirk points out children need to grow up, Kooky loses it. Spock, meanwhile, has worked out how to escape the bubble using science. He's going to push and pull. Well, it's science of a sort. Kooky realises the Enterprise has escaped. To distract him from destroying it, the away team release the Capellan power cat that he has. Blimey. Does sound like something from He-Man, doesn't it?
It does.
And that goes around smashing the other animals' cages and freeing them. Apparently he was based on writer Wise's Surly Cat. And Capella 4 featured in Friday's Child in the original series. I don't know, that's just chance that they've picked the same name, but anyway. The Enterprise opens fire and disables Kooky's power source, placing them all in danger. Kirk uses a hypo to tranquilise the power cat. I mean, that should have been Bones, shouldn't it, really?
Yeah.
But Kirk got
He takes it from Bones and then runs with it.
Yeah, it's like Bones should have done that. He's the bloody doctor. I mean, he's going to be closer to a vet than Kirk will be. Scotty makes friends with a little yellow cat, which is a nice touch. Kirk and Bones argue they have minds, so are capable of controlling their violent nature, and they don't need Cuckoo anymore, so he bogs off. Kirk points out that at least they weren't dealing with a godlike alien this week, just a very old one, who tinkered in Earth's past. I mean, that's a very fine distinction, but there we are. And this week's second animation mistake is McCoy speaking from Kirk's face, which is very weird. Delivering what is supposed to be a jip at Vulcans, but Spock turns it round, saying that when they were visited by aliens, the beings left wiser than when they came. Ooh. Burn. We finish with the title of the episode explained, which is a one-up on last time's episode, isn't it? So,
yeah, quote from Shakespeare.
There we go. But a quote from Shakespeare that is relevant.
Yes.
Because they're the children. So, yeah,
yes.
Fair enough. So, cannonballs or Spock's balls?
Rock on, Tommy, you'll do for me.
His brain is gone.
I really don't like Von Daniken shit, so I would say this is Spock's balls, because there's no reason why it isn't canon.
Exactly. I mean, there's plenty of that in the original series as well. This won an enemy. It won an Emmy, even.
Yeah.
But yes, the Von Danikenness is rather unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's also very much Who Mourns for Adonis, except it's Mayan rather than Greek stuff. With a more fantastic design, of course.
Yeah.
But with a bit of menagerie thrown in. Bit of the motion picture Star Trek 4 probe shenanigans thrown in.
Yeah, I mean, so there's enough in it to make it canon, but it's not really good.
Yeah, it's crap canon, which we class as Spock's balls around here.
Yep.
Obviously. Well, let's find out what other people thought. We've heard from the God of Llamas.
Dog, Scotty, fix this year. Och, Jake. Sending us west to the world. Now, the question posed by this week's episode of Star Trek the Animated Series is exactly how much Star Trek can you fit into one episode? Because, I mean, this one has them all, doesn't it? We've got a mysterious probe, we've got a mysterious massive ship with an energy field around it that they can't quite penetrate and which works to disable the ship. There's an ancient alien that's been to Earth and has influenced the development of our civilization. We have various creatures in cages which are kept contained in a peaceful state because they're actually trapped in mental stimulations that are keeping them happy. And we have a tertiary one-episode character who happens to also know everything about the peril that they're facing this week. It's like they went, "Yo, Targ, I heard you like Star Trek, so I put some Star Trek in your Star Trek." I mean, at the end of the episode, Kirk even explains what it is to be human, so yeah, they've got kind of everything, haven't they? The only thing I think that's wrong with this episode is that Red Shirt doesn't die, although you're about to tell me they did, and I've just forgotten, aren't you? So yes, whilst this is very much a greatest hits of Star Trek episode, it's not a bad thing, especially considering that some of those references, like the giant spaceship with an energy cloud, which is very much reminiscent of the motion picture, that hasn't actually been done at the point this episode is made. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing that this is a greatest hits thing. The fact that you can see germs of things yet to come is always very interesting. The general story itself is fine, and it's presented in a pretty generally fun way. It's only 22 minutes long, like all the episodes, so it doesn't outstay its welcome. The only problem really with the story is, of course, the same problem that afflicts all of those Chariots of the Gods type stories, which is basically, yes, we're going to focus on non-white peoples, but then we're going to suggest that the development of their cultures was entirely because of some extraterrestrial intelligence, because they couldn't have been clever enough to have done it for themselves, which is always a little bit patronising, but it was very much the vogue at the time, and we're going to get Battlestar Galactica a few years after this, so yeah, sure, whatever. I do like how Kukulkan is depicted here. He came to Earth to teach peace, but we didn't actually call him back, and so now he's just pissed off. He's not trying to claim he is trying to claim he's superior, but that's not what he's there for. He's just really pissed off that we never called him back. We ghosted him. So, yeah, I can kind of get that, really. It is quite an amusing motivation for a character. So, yeah, I kind of like that one there. And obviously, at the end of the episode, he is able to be argued round, so he wasn't a completely bad egg at all. The episode does also, of course, make good use of the fact that it's animated and not studio-based and live action, because, I mean, they couldn't have done a lot of stuff in this episode in live action, especially in the 60s, could they? You've got the whole different landscapes things we get at the start, the giant pyramids. I mean, can you imagine those being done in a 60s Star Trek set? I mean, it wouldn't have been amusing, would it? And, of course, there's Kukulkan himself, who I don't think it would be been portrayed like that at all, it would probably been a guy with a snake headdress or something, wouldn't it? It would have been 60s Star Trek, not some sort of giant floating snake, which is a really nice, good look. And they do some really fun things with the animations, him, especially towards the end of the episode when he's being outwitted and he has some really gormless looks on his face, which probably weren't meant to be amusing, but I found them unintentionally funny. And of course we've got his spaceship as well, which is a very nice, not quite snake-like, but evocative of a snake-like design in that respect. Although it does look a bit like a smiley face from head on, but you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Seeing faces and things isn't a bad thing. So yeah, on the whole, it uses the format well, and as I say, it's just fun and rips along quite nicely. On the downsides, yes, whilst we do indeed get a Native American character, I haven't actually looked it up, but I'm going to guess that it wasn't actually voiced by a Native American actor. I'm going to guess that was another James Doohan turn. Again, I'm hoping that'll be proved wrong. I could have, of course, gone to the internet, but I'm in the middle of recording this now, so I'm not going to. And of course, the fact that Kirk is completely unable to pronounce Kukulkan in the same way as everyone else does. He's just making his own thing, saying whatever he wants to say, and I don't know if that's because maybe his script was in error or something, but I'm not going to lay this one at Shatner's feet, because it could well be that his script had a spelling error, or the director didn't pick it up. Of course, it could have been Shatner's fault. It could just be him not wanting to learn how to pronounce this alien otherworldly name. It's not alien otherworldly, but you know what I mean. But equally, it could just been the fault of the director or something, so I'm not going to complain of one person that so much, but it should have been caught all the same. So is this canon or is it balls? I mean, we've had aliens influence the development of human culture in the past, so sure, why not one more? I mean, that does make Earth rather busy, but sure, why not? It's in keeping. So, as ever, I'll be interested to find out how other people found this episode. I hope that people are slowly being able to pull away from the bubbles of heat that they've been trapped in, and until next time, glory to you and your cast.
Yeah, we had actual water falling from the sky today.
We did.
I had to Google to find out what it was.
And it is noticeably cooler.
Oh, it's lovely.
And yesterday was better as well. It's much more...
Return to what you expect from summer rather than Saharan deserts.
Yes, yeah. But the rain has made the birds noisy.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
They're probably having a party.
It was indeed Shatner's fault for mispronouncing this, because
Yeah.
he didn't turn up in person to get the briefing. He just literally telephoned in his lines, which says all you need to know about Shatner.
Yes. Yes.
There's only one person who dies in the whole of the animated series, and it was
Really?
one of the first episodes. I can't remember who it was now, but yes, people don't generally die in this because, hey, kids' cartoon.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
yes, it was Doohan doing...
Yes.
Yes.
I mean...
Chief Running Bear or whatever it was.
I mean, it didn't seem to me to be a particularly dodgy accent.
No.
So, as in, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. But it could have been far better if they'd actually got
somebody,
you know, the writer for starters. I mean, maybe he
yeah.
didn't have a very good speaking voice, but at least it would have been more. But they didn't do that sort of thing in those days. Hey, we Talon Wayne Chang, anybody? Let's move on. Yes. And we'll move on to Purry.
Hello, Orgs. Purry here to talk about the rather poncely titled How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. And one of the things I'll say about this is it's very Roddenberry. It's also good in that it is one of those things that, yes, you couldn't do this in the 70s in live action. I'm not saying that it looks fantastic, but, you know, there's magnitudes of how much better realised the god, whose name I can't remember now, is realised compared to how it would be in, you know, the 70s. Christ knows how they do this. The plot itself, what I found interesting actually with this is a plot that if you read about like the making of Star Trek Phase 2 and the motion picture, this is a plot that Roddenberry was pitching for ages. He really had a thing on for an alien comes to Earth and it pans out to be God and says, why aren't people worshipping them, and gets all angry that he's not being worshipped. And he's actually just a really advanced alien and really ancient. And humanity says, we don't have time for you anymore. And Kirk possibly has a punch up with Jesus or something. That was something that Roddenberry kept pitching, and unsurprisingly it got turned down. I think the only way this got passed was A, no one was really giving a toss about the animated series by this point, and B, you know, they picked like an old Mayan or Aztec god rather than, you know, like literal Judeo-Christian god, you know, appearing like as some sort of guy with a big beard and a big glowing thing asking God what he wants to do with a starship. So the plot is basically a cool spaceship appears, traps them in a bubble. Again, there's some sort of almost Q stuff there, except obviously without the mischief. And yes, this creature appears, nabs certain crew, including never before seen and never again seen, hey, you're not Sulu, Ensign Running Bear. Now, I appreciate the attempt at First People's representation in an episode. You know, again, it's probably on par with Chakotay. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say if it was being racist, and if so, how. But it is one of those things that I wonder if Takei was sitting there going, couldn't Sulu just know about this? Couldn't this be some random hobby that Sulu has that he's never mentioned before or will again? But I still, we had this other character all of a sudden front and centre. And, like I say, I appreciate the representation, even if it was done badly. Can you imagine them making mistakes about terrible First People's representation in like a series made, I don't know, in our more enlightened 1990s? That would be crazy. So yeah, you've got him kind of doing the lore dumps. And other than that, it is just the crew versus an alien who's upset that his children are not worshipping him properly. And for some reason, they just let him go off with all his weird technology and don't say, Kirk says, we could have learned something from. You still could, Kirk. He's got some really advanced technology, but it also involves them fighting in like an intergalactic zoo, including with what was it? It wasn't a thundercat, but it was something like that. It's the sort of cat that's electric. I briefly thought Kirk was going to die and then be resurrected, but that was probably going to be too on the nose. But it did have what I look for in an animated series. It had some unnecessarily bonkers stuff. The fact that at no point did the alien god, whose name I can't remember, turn into like a human for ease of communication. No, they were fighting this feathered dragon lizard thing the whole time, and that I really appreciate. That's I've got a lot of time for. But yeah, for the main part, I mean, like I say, as a story, it's just very pure Roddenberry. I don't think I could recommend this to people to watch for a good time. I enjoyed it, but again, how much I enjoyed it, just in a look at the cool god character, and oh yeah, this is so Roddenberry. This is Gene's vision, as it were. But yeah, overall, it entertained me enough, and 25 minutes of my life I don't regret spending. So there's a brilliant review to put on the box. Anyway, all that remains to say is do keep up the good work. I always look forward to the podcast and I hope to feedback on the next one. But until then, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
So not bowled over, but still reasonably entertained. Excellent.
Yeah.
And yes, it was good to have a very non-human I can't say protagonist now.
Protagonist?
Protagonist, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
For a change.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, this particular deity isn't Japanese, but they have dragons in Japanese culture. So
yeah, that would have been an easy route. But, I mean, I think it would have been okay had they given Sulu a rest for a week in order to do the... I mean, surely it would have been better to have had somebody who was... I suppose there aren't any mines around, are they? Because they got killed off, didn't they?
Well, no, there are. They're just in the Yucatan.
Yeah. Somebody... That would be more relevant, wouldn't it? The fact that he's, from one of the Native American tribes doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? I mean...
Well,
was there a lot of crossover? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a deity or demigod in Mesopotamia, which covers a number of different cultures. So maybe because I don't remember which it was part of that. But then would they have called it Kukulkan? Because it was known as something like Quetzalcoatl in Aztec, and it was another name for Incan. Do you see what I mean? It had different names. Usually the name they had translates as something like Serpent God, if you see what I mean. So rather than being a name like your name is Peter, it was more like a description.
Yeah.
The name in the language. So it would have been
the equivalent of calling me cool dude.
That would be a lie.
Oh. Well, on that note, what are we covering next time? Well, we're covering the last episode of the animated series. Tuesday the 1st of September. There's a familiar date. We'll be covering the counterclock incident. Until the next time, we're talking into your ears in ancient Mayan or something. Very unlikely, I know. Take care. Cheery bye.
Bye, boy.
theme for Star Trek the Animated Series was written by Ray Ellis and Norm Prescott.
Any music used in this podcast is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Find us on Blue Sky at broadcastammo.bsky.social
and revorg.bsky.social.
Shut it down!